All right, let's jump right in. Today we're going to tackle a really unsettling idea. What if the comfortable, convenient world we've built is actually a kind of prison? And here's the kicker. What if its bars are made from our very own desires?
You know, this quote from Goethe, man, it has never felt more relevant. It really forces us to ask a tough question. Are we actually free? Or have we just gotten really good at loving our own chains?
So first up, let's explore this illusion of freedom. The idea that we could be trapped without any physical chains, living in what Aldous Huxley famously called a painless concentration camp. That's a pretty chilling thought, isn't it?
See, for decades, our collective fear of the future was pretty much shaped by George Orwell's vision on the left. Control through pain, through brute force, a boot stamping on a human face forever. But what if we've been looking in the wrong direction this whole time? What if we totally missed Aldous Huxley's warning on the right? A world controlled not by pain, but by pleasure, where the truth is just drowned out by an endless sea of distractions, and we're actually taught to love our servitude.
And this all leads to a massive question for our time. Are our opinions really our own anymore? Or have they just become these pre-programmed responses? How we, in a way, become a population of opinionated robots?
So how does something like this even happen? I mean, we really need to get our heads around the mechanics of it all. How a society can actually manufacture conformity by, well, systematically killing the mind.
And there's a name for this. It's menticide, a term from the psychoanalyst Joost Meerloo. Now, this isn't about physical violence. No, it's way more subtle. It's a deliberate assault on our ability to think for ourselves. It's basically a war waged against the individual spirit. In this process, it follows this terrifyingly clear playbook. Step 1, you create a massive climate of fear, a fear psychosis that keeps everyone on edge. Step 2, all that terror and contradictory information leads to what's called learned helplessness, that feeling that you're totally powerless to change anything. And the final step? Well, that's when people become not just willing, but eager to trade their liberty for a simple promise of security. The psychological result of all this is a kind of mass regression. Society as a whole basically reverts to a childlike state, looking for some authority figure to offer protection, and consistently choosing the comfort of safety over the heavy responsibility of freedom. This quote just nails our modern situation perfectly. We're being guided, almost herded, into a digital velvet cage. And the most terrifying part? The bars aren't made of steel. They're made of our own passive acceptance, our own automaton conformity. We are the ones holding them in place.
But that raises the big question, right? Why? Why do we submit so easily? To figure that out, we have to look at the psychological root of this whole thing. We have to look inward. The great psychologist Carl Jung, he called this internal force the spirit of regression. It's this deep, almost primal desire to avoid the hard parts of life, to run away from responsibility and retreat back into a sort of psychological womb where we feel safe and nothing is ever our fault.
When we give in to this spirit, we become what Jung called a cipher. We get so obsessed with our persona, that social mask we all wear to get approval, that our true self just stops developing. We end up without any real moral autonomy, just robotically obeying orders. Not out of conviction, but because we're terrified of standing out, of being alone. And Jung's warning here is just so stark. You can't ignore it. You see, mass conformity doesn't create strength. It creates a void. 1 million people who have given up their individuality don't add up to a powerful movement. They just add up to zero.
Okay, I know this has all been pretty heavy. But here's the crucial part, the good news. There is a way out. So now, let's talk about the solution. Let's talk about how to escape this velvet cage.
The antidote to all this is what Jung called individuation. It's the journey of becoming a true whole individual. It simply means we stop looking outside of ourselves for approval and validation, and instead we learn to listen to and trust our own inner compass, our conscience.
This contrast really lays out the two paths we can take. We have to move away from the constructed self on the left, the one that's so fragile because it's built on external things like your job title or what you own. The real goal is to build the discovered self on the right, a strong, resilient identity that's built on internal things like your character, your skills, your virtues.
So, what does this actually look like in practice? The final, most powerful step is a deep commitment to living within the truth. That is the ultimate antidote to the madness of the crowd.
I mean, this quote from Aleksandr Solzhenitsyn is like a personal declaration of sovereignty. It's the moment an individual commits to stop participating in the lies that hold a sick system together. It all starts with that one simple decision.
The falsehood stops with me.
And when enough people make that commitment, something amazing starts to grow, what are known as parallel structures. These are independent communities, media outlets, businesses, all built on a foundation of truth. They might exist physically inside a sick society, but they operate on a completely different moral framework.
Ultimately, the struggle we're all in is between two fundamentally opposing visions for humanity. On one side, you have what's been called the vision of the anointed, which believes in controlling society from the top down. And on the other, you have the vision of freedom, which empowers every individual to forge their own destiny.
And that leaves every single one of us with a heroic choice. We can stop being willing slaves to comfort and approval. We can stop being spectators in our own lives. It means we have to be willing to attend the school of anxiety, to face the discomfort where real growth happens, and to embrace the profound risk of being fully, authentically yourself.
And never, ever underestimate the power of that choice. Just think about that. The integrity of a single person deciding to live in truth can create ripples powerful enough to challenge the most powerful systems of control.
So the final question is for you. Will you stay a passive spectator, content inside that comfortable velvet cage? Or will you find the courage to pick up the hammer and chisel and begin the noble, difficult work of sculpting your own destiny? The choice, as it always is yours.